Okay, that's the upper level, and that's that gray unmarked U25B is my Mogollon, Mogollon mines lease unit, being leased to the Cundy Harbor in Western. Initially, back in 2020, after we moved into the house here, I started working on my bedroom, and you can tell it's still quite a mess. And I'm not ashamed to show my mess. I mean, I'm a bachelor after all, and kind of a lazy one myself. But there's two levels here, and what I used was, I used the channels that have the single slot for shelving, and they're placed at every stud, as many studs as I could find. Some of these walls are not evenly studded. The house is 80 years old, therefore the studs are not even, and it's been rebuilt interior-wise several times since original construction. I think the sheetrock in this room is probably 20 years old, maybe 30 at the most. Some of the backdrops, that's painted masonite, and then I've used the scenic backdrops from Walthers. The Swift plant was a eBay kit, eBay cheapie, although it's a Sidem Alpine Models kit. So I have a Swift siding in honor of our friend Melvin, who lives in Bakersfield. And there's one full siding that's a passing siding on the upper level, and that is going kind of sort of right there, and it goes on the curve, but it can be allowed for full kind of operation, and it kind of ends there. You notice I've got two cutouts for the tunnels into the wall. The lower level, which is the first part, represents New England, the coastal New England, and as you can tell right now it represents a construction mess. This lower level is supposed to represent Cundy's Harbor, my former hometown on the East Coast. If I go visit there, I have to pay to stay anywhere anymore. I can't just live for free. Anyway, and then the first tunnel, or the only tunnel so far, goes underneath, and that represents Merry Meeting Bay. We call it the Gurnet. Cook's Corner, because we'll put that Cook's Corner right there, and the Rockland branch, which we don't do. And I've started and kind of hesitated and hemmed and hawed on this, but in the back you can see some of the track work for a grade, and that's supposed to go all the way up to the second level and supply me with ability to run around and stub end switching. The 10-foot straightaway here is supposed to represent Brunswick, Maine, and the yard. They had several yards in Brunswick. One was more of a ladder yard, and the second yard was where they would place cars for various industry, which now no longer exists. In modern day use, it would be the Amtrak station would be right in here, would be facing us. We would be looking over the station onto the track. In the 1940s, the railroad station would be on the far side, and we'd see all the track in front. So I'm going to use a scenery block to put in the divider so you can't see the grade going up the back. And that's been a bugaboo for me. So I kind of let it lie while I've got other projects to tend to here on the property. And it's coming along. 1 year, I think I was given a kind of a fantasy house by somebody in the family. Nice little cottage. And so I assembled the cottage. Some folks had said it looks like a hobbit's house, and I'm like, no, I'm thinking more like Shell Cottage in the Harry Potter films on the beach. So that'll have a place on one of my beach scenes when I get a chance to do that. As you can tell, the lower deck has gotten diminished in importance while I work on the upper deck and other things, because the upper deck can go around in circles. I don't need to stop and don't need to switch engines and back it. I can just run a train and go around in circles. So I'm going to end this video in just a moment. This is supposed to be the engine terminal over here in the dark. And right now it's a scatter grain thing. I have a cheap sieve for scenery. I have some squishy rocks. They're stress rocks, but they'll fit on the railroad. Found a perfect cab repair front I picked up somewhere this spring. And of course the turntable's buried underneath the schooner and other things. Here's that car ramp I showed everybody last summer on our Zoom meeting. So there's a lot of work for me to do on this railroad, and God willing I'll get a chance to get it finished. I just wanted to share this with you guys. So I'm going to close the video out.